in, sit back and relax. You're listening to the WealthTech Today podcast. I'm your host, Craig Iskowitz, founder of Ezra Group Consulting. And this podcast features interviews, news, and analysis on the trends and best practices all around wealth management technology. Speaking of news, this is our March news roundup. Got a bunch of stories for you, and I've got so many, I'm going to just jump right in and try to move quickly through them since I think I skipped last month. So we've got double stories for you. We're going to squeeze them all in. We've got a wide range. We've got, of course, AI is everywhere about everything we talk about. Can't get away from it. So we're going to lead off with that. We're going to talk about some changes in some companies. Leadership. We got a lot of funding rounds coming in. We got some new products. We got some very exciting deals that are announced with some of the largest broker dealers. We've got some changes in management. And we've got, of course, the WealthTech Map and the WealthTech Today Integration Score Recognition Program. And speaking of the WealthTech Map, here's something most RIAs won't admit. Your tech stack didn't evolve by design. It evolved by accident. You got new custodians, new portfolio management tools, new must-have apps that were layered on year after year. And now your leadership is wondering why your advisors aren't using the tools you paid for, and why your operations feel harder, not easier. Here at Ezra Group, we are consultants. We're advisors to advisors. We don't sell software. We just help wealth management firms objectively assess your tech ecosystem and help you make smarter, defensible decisions about where to invest and where to stop wasting your money. Our 90-day tech stack reboot will give you clarity without committing to a years-long transformation project. If you want your tech stack to support growth instead of slowing you down, you need to run, not walk, to our website, EzraGroup.com, and click the golden Contact Us button on the homepage to book a strategy call. Ezra Group, we just make tech stacks better. And now, housekeeping tasks. Please subscribe to the show, yada, yada, yada. Check out our sponsor, the Invest in Others Charitable Foundation, at investinothers.org. And if you're a wealth tech vendor, go to our website, ezragroup.com/register to register your product with our Wealth Tech Integration Score database. And now, let's kick this thing off. First story, it's about funding and the AI ecosystem. We have two major funding rounds that were announced since the last time I did the news. First was Zox raised $45 million. And I think it was in January. Then in February, Jump announced an $80 million round. And then, of course, we've got the T3 Inside Information Survey, which is now including AI note takers for the first time. So that's all wrapped up together in the AI note taker context. Of course, we all know the history of AI note takers, how it came out of generative AI, and things have been moving really, really fast. We've been closely following this evolution. Last year, we published our own research, AI note takers and assistants report you can find at ezragroup.com. And we're putting out another update to that report. Usually we update every 2 years, most tech, but AI note takers are moving so fast, we're going to just do it every year. It's just, there's too many new things coming in. So what we've noticed is that there's a split accelerating between applications that were primarily in the AI note taker AI assistant camp, and we're calling it the Great Bifurcation. Or maybe it should be the Great Wealth Tech Bifurcation, the Great AI note taker bifurcation, but right now the Great Bifurcation. And the reason is you have, on the one side, you have legacy platforms like your CRMs, your custodians, your financial planning software that have responded to the AI note taker threat. We call it a threat because it's really disintermediating a lot of other products by embedding AI features directly into their existing products. So firms like Wealthbox, Altruist, Nitrogen, Practify, all have built their own internal note taker tools into their application. On the other side of the bifurcation, you've got what we're now calling Agentic OS, Agentic Advisor OS, and they're these vendors are taking up these same names. They're moving beyond just note takers. Now they're becoming specialized platforms that have evolved and are now, they all want to sit on top of the advisor tech stack or sit in between the advisor tech stack, moving data in and out. That's really where they all want to play. So they're not just capturing what's said in the meeting, they're extracting data, they're syncing it across systems, identifying opportunities, servicing next best actions. They're really becoming, as I mentioned, agentic operating systems. So there's a key distinction in residency and scope here. So some of these embedded tools live inside one platform, and that makes that platform more useful. These agentic tools are trying to live above the entire tech stack and even govern it, but become the gatekeepers and traffic cops of data moving in between different applications. So it's going to be tough because I think every one of these applications that you're using now, at some point they're going to wake up and go, why are we letting these guys control all of our data? So it's going to be a bit of a battle. The two stories, Zox raises 45 million Series B from Lightspeed QED investors for AI assistant to financial advisors, and Jump raises $80 million, also a Series B, but led by Insight Partners to expand their AI operating system for financial advisors. And notice how they're building in their marketing and the way they're trying to pitch their products in the press release. We're an AI assistant, we're an AI operating system. They want you to really think of themselves and not just note takers anymore. So this is a lot of money. Jump has now raised $100 million altogether, and I don't have the Zox number. Oh wait, total of $65 million altogether. So that's a lot of money. These firms are moving very quickly. From launching their products just 2 years ago, they've scaled to, I think, between the two firms, over 50,000 advisors are using just those two firms' note takers. They're adding 2,000 users a month. As I mentioned, the note takers are now in the T3 Inside Information Survey, and they rank number one in advisor satisfaction in last year's survey. So there's a lot going on here. When you've got these firms that are investing like Fidelity, Allianz Life Ventures, TIAA Ventures, they're looking for strategic investments. They're saying, hey, we like this product. We're going to put our money behind it. We want this firm to be around for a while since we're betting part of our business on it. So those models where they're looking at it as more than just a tool, they're looking at it as something that's going to integrate closely into their systems and their environments. So a lot of users, a lot of growth is happening and is moving very, very quickly. So both of these firms, Zox and Jump, are both expanding their functionality as quickly as they can, whether it's reading PDF files, client statements, and pushing them into proposals, or it's reviewing your book of business and identifying opportunities, opening accounts, moving data between applications. They're really trying to take over as much of the advisor desktop as they can. Neither of these firms are claiming to be CRMs or portfolio management or any specific category. I think they see themselves as a new category where they're taking bits and pieces of everyone else's category. And one way I heard it was, if you don't want to say, well, we're a CRM, because then you're going to be checklisted against a CRM as consultants. One of the things we do is help clients evaluate vendors, and we love checklists here at Ezra Group. We've got checklists of checklists going through feature functionality for every application, every category. If you look at the Keatis Ezra Group map, we have over 60 categories. We've got checklists for each, a feature checklist for each one of those categories. And when we're looking at different vendors, we compare those. So you don't want to be stuck in one of those categories, because then you're going to go feature by feature and you may not have all those features. Most likely you won't. But if you say, hey, we are a note taker, we're an AI agentic operating system, and we've got some features that you might find in the CRM, you've got some features you might find in a financial planning tool, that's a very different message. Now, last week, I was at the T3 conference, and they announced their new report, which they do every year. And the note taker was its own category, as I mentioned. Now, they identified 14 platforms. We're tracking a couple more than that. But what they are showing in the T3 survey, and this is not a scientifically run survey, but it's directionally pretty close. They're showing about 43% aggregate market share for this category. So from 0 2 years ago to 43% is pretty explosive growth. Bob Vera said on stage at T3 that he believes the AI note takers have gone past 60% market penetration, which is probably true. And that, again, is tremendous for this industry. Now, what surprised some researchers, but didn't surprise me, is who's adopting the fastest. According to the T3 survey, firms with over 8 million in annual revenue had over 43% adoption versus 32% for the smallest firms. Advisors with 20 years of experience were more likely to use these tools than advisors in the first 5 years. That was a little surprising. On the broader AI side, over half of advisors are now using at least one generative AI or search AI tool, up from 40% last year. ChatGPT is leading, according to the T3 survey, with 41% market share among LLMs, Microsoft Copilot second at 20, and Google Gemini third at 14%. With these two applications, in terms of the Ezra Group WealthTech Integration Score, which you can find at ezragroup.com, Zox has a score of 8.36, which is rated superior, and Jump has a score of 8.63, which is also rated superior. So what you're seeing across these stories is the great bifurcation playing out in real time, and a lot of capital is accelerating it. So we saw note takers go mainstream in just a year. This adoption curve is tremendous. The amount of money being pumped into the category means you're going to be seeing a lot of marketing and a lot of salespeople out there and moving into a lot of different categories and moving into a lot of different client segments. They're expanding as fast as they can because it's really grabbing market share. Once you pick one of these products, the moat isn't technology anymore. We all know how easy it is to build software if you haven't built it yourself. You're talking to every vendor. We're all seeing how fast they're able to build software. Every vendor is laying off developers because they're using AI to build software quicker. So all these vendors are leapfrogging each other with new features and functionality. So you just wait a couple weeks, you probably get the features and functionality that the other vendor had. So features and software isn't differentiating, isn't creating a moat anymore. What's creating the moat is regulatory, cybersecurity, purchasing, contracting. Once you get that with any of these enterprise firms, that's the hardest part these days. It's getting into the platform, getting into the company. And once you've done that, that creates a bit of a moat. And training on users. So these firms are all rushing it's like a land rush, like the 1849 gold rush, trying to close enterprise deals as quickly as they can, and hoping to lock out the other competitor. So if you're a boutique or a solo practice and you want simplicity, you probably want to look at some of the embedded tools like that are in your CRM, like in Wealthbox or Practify, or from your custodian. Those are probably fine. They're relatively lower cost, and they're already integrated into the applications you're working with without having to wait for integrations to be built. Now, that might be different if you're a multi-advisor, multi-office firm with more complex tech stacks, multiple systems, more of a heterogeneous ecosystem. Then you would be more interested in what we're calling the tier 2 agentic OS, like Zox, like Jump, like Cognicore, Zeppelin, these other firms. So they're going to have a higher ROI. They're going to be providing more connectivity between applications, and they're going to be offering more and more functionality that you might be paying for from other systems. So there may be some cost savings there as well. So the firms that get this right early will be having what we consider a compounding advantage. And based on the T3 data, the more experienced advisors at more well-resourced firms already ahead of the curve. So we're seeing a lot. We're seeing this bifurcation, as I mentioned. There's also the passive utilities. The general transcription tools are still being used, but I think their market share is collapsing. Fathom, Fireflies, and Zoom, they're still out there, but as the benefits and the capabilities are being layered on top of these advisor-specific tools, the benefits and scalability and just basically the benefits and the time saving is compounding and increasing much faster than they would have with these generic tools. So, as I mentioned, the great bifurcation is real and it's accelerating, and we're going to continue to see more capital flowing in and more applications being built. It's only a matter of time before some of these applications become full-featured advisor platforms end-to-end, but right now they're just building what they're building, and we're going to be seeing more of it very, very soon. Our next story comes from Advyzon. Now, I was at the Advyzon conference and moderated a panel, and it was out in San Francisco. not San Jose, not San Francisco, Phoenix, uh, beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. And I appreciate the Advyzon people inviting me out. Great team out there. And they had a couple of interesting announcements. And I thought the most interesting was that they are building out their own financial planning capabilities. And they hired some a pretty impressive team to do that, led by Kevin Hughes, formerly of Money Guide and InvestNet, who's now running Advyzon's financial planning. And what I found interesting about this is Advyzon has really taken the all-in-one category to another level, and that they started out building it around a CRM and then added all the capabilities around portfolio management and reporting and billing and such. And that really solidified the way their application is integrated and how tightly it is. And I think they do integrate with Salesforce, but they don't integrate with any other CRM. So if you're not using theirs, there's like, look, use our CRM or don't use our product. Unless you're an enterprise and you need those capabilities, and you can use Salesforce, but they don't let you integrate with anything else. And that kind of makes it all the more of, hey, this is a special product for you. And I think there's a lot of capabilities there that are very beneficial. They're doing a great job of adding new clients, especially after Morningstar Office shut down. But what I found interesting is there is this new financial planning tool I think is going to do really well. Even though the market is saturated when it comes to financial planning, there's so many applications. If you look at the Keatis as a group map, not just the core all-in-one financial planning tools, but the 80 or so specialized planning tools. There's just no end to them. And you think, well, how can we use another one? Well, there's always room for one more. And especially now with technology changing so quickly, building a brand new platform is relatively straightforward. As I mentioned earlier, we all know how easy it is to build software now. And advise on having this great platform and a great user base. Why not offer financial planning that's tightly integrated to the rest of your system? And Kevin gave a great demo at the conference of some stuff he's vibe coded, a lot of capabilities that you normally would only find in these all-in-one tools are now going to be available in the Advyzon financial planning system. So let's see. According to the statement, the new planning tools will combine goals-based investing and cash flow planning, so both, among other features, and fully integrated. And they said we look forward to launching it in 2026 sometime. By the way, they also got on their strategic advisory board the great Tony Leal from Money Guide as well. So a lot of great brain power around financial planning. Of course, Advyzon offers portfolio management and CRM tools, and they're leaping into this category. If you look at the breakdown, if I can find my report here. So looking at the T3 survey, these market shares, I think a little off, but I think again they're directionally right. They've got eMoney at 28%, Money Guide Pro at 23%, Right Capital zooming up to 21%. That seems high, especially jumping from 15% last year. It's tough to move in the financial planning world from 15 to 21, but that's what the numbers are showing. Now you have to also understand the Money Guide launched Money Guide Elite, which I believe is their high net worth platform, which has got about a 9%. So adding 9 to 23, that gives you 31. So that's a little more like where they used to be. Orion, with their built-in financial planning, is at 5. So Advyzon following in the footsteps of Orion, building their own internal financial planning tools. You can see Orion's grabbing market share as well. So why not Advyzon doing the same? I think it's when people ask me which is better, best of breed or all in one, my answer is all things being equal, all in one is always better. However, all things aren't always equal. So you may not like the built-in tools that your vendor has, but having it in one place, one user interface, one way to train, you don't have to task switch, all the data is in one place. It's really better overall, better for scalability, and requires less technical support if you've got everything in one place. So I think the Advyzon all-in-one capability, building out their financial planning tools, will provide great benefits to their clients. And there's a lot of other vendors popping in as well, but I think there's a lot of benefit there. So the looking at the perhaps best reason to believe Advyzon can succeed is that Advyzon garnered one of the highest advisor satisfaction ratings among providers in the 5 different categories on the Keatsis research on advisor technology in portfolio management, performance reporting, CRM, client file sharing, and client portal, making them an exception to the general rule that all-in-one providers tend to struggle to put all their individual pieces together and find it difficult to remain competitive in multiple categories. Advyzon seems to buck that trend. And according to the same Keatsis survey, around 3 to 5% of advisors reported changing tech providers in the last 12 months in most categories, implying that advisors on average stick with each piece of software between 20 and 30 years. So vendors know this. Once they get a contract signed, they're going to be in there for quite some time. Now, it's notable that Right Capital recently launched a new feature specifically aimed to make it easier to switch from other applications, specifically eMoney, by being able to scan PDF copies of eMoney financial planning output and automatically mapping that data into the relevant fields in Right Capital. However, eMoney also has quietly been using their own version of the same technology to transfer data from other providers. So I think this is really going to change the game a bit, because up until now, once you picked a financial planning tool, you're really locked in. There was no way to move data. The only way to convert to a different planning tool was to slowly, as your clients came in for their quarterly or annual meetings, do a new report for them, a new financial plan in the new tool, which could take, well, at least a full year at minimum if everyone comes in every year, to redo everyone's financial plan, and had to be done manually. Now it can be done automatically, and with AI, you can check the data. So that's going to reduce a moat that existed for 30 or more years around financial planning software. That's gone. So we might be seeing some major shifts in market share if these tools become more in a wider use and show that they can work. Then that might really shift the market for financial planning tools. It remains to be seen. Our next story: DocuPace touts 200,000-hour windfall for Precise FP and Hubly users in 2025. DocuPace says its Precise FP data gathering platform and Hubly workflow engine helped eliminate more than 200,000 hours of manual work for advisors in 2025, automating roughly 4 million tasks across the industry. The company estimates those time savings translate into around $30 million in productivity gains, tied largely to automating client data collection across more than 400,000 accounts. The firm reports that Precise FP alone accounts for more than almost 200,000 hours of time saved last year by capturing and processing almost 22 million data elements that otherwise would have been required manual entry, up 30% from 17 million in 2024. So that's a good increase a year over year. It also handled nearly 400,000 automated data transfers between integrated applications, almost a 30% increase from the prior year, again, as data is moving among CRMs, planning tools, custodial systems, and portfolio platforms without rekeying. Ryan George, Chief Marketing Officer at DocuPace, said the results highlight the fundamental operational challenge of financial advisors and their teams spending far too much time manually capturing, rekeying, and transporting client data between disconnected systems. Now, DocuPace is also betting heavily on AI, as is every other firm in our space. Since November, Precise FP users have created more than 2,000 AI assistants to help with data gathering, with AI-driven reporting and document extraction slated for later this year. On the operational side, Hubly users completed 719,000 workflows and 3.9 million tasks in 2025, an increase of 60% year over year. The platform saw a 14% jump, and a 140% jump in completed data forms last year, which DocuPace argues signals fast-growing RIAs are moving from ad hoc email and spreadsheets to more structured processes. So I like to see these numbers being put out by vendors to show real progress in automating tasks. And we know that Precise FP was acquired by DocuPace, I believe, last year or 2 years ago. That was a big move for them. DocuPace has a WealthTech integration score of 8.24, which is in the top 10%. But Precise FP, I think, has the highest score in our database, which is a score of 9.30 among integrations. Also, as might have mentioned earlier, I did some workflow AI agent tools for the T3 conference and their AI university. I built some tools to show how it could be done by advisors, and I use Precise FP as one of the applications just because it's so widely used in the RIA space. And they have very strong APIs and available API tokens, which makes it very easy to set up and configure. So you can check that out. I wrote an article about that on our website, which you can check it out, wealthtechtoday.com. And we're expecting more from DocuPace and Precise FP and Hubly as they expand and deliver more AI features and functionality. Next up, Contio's Meeting OS aims to turn advisor meetings into decisive moments. Contio, the Boise-based Contio, the Boise-based startup founded by Riskaly's Aaron Contio, the Boise-based startup founded by Riskaly's Aaron Klein, has launched their new, highly anticipated product called Meeting OS, which they call a decision acceleration platform built on an AI engine that drafts agendas for client meetings, identifies who should be in the room, surfaces relevant data as they happen, and then generates notes and action items. Klein, who came out of retirement to declare open war against broken meetings in June last year, framed the opportunity in terms of the global meeting economy, pointing to 1 billion knowledge workers around the globe who bemoan the massive inefficiency that defines most of their calendar. Klein said the idea for Contio was born about 8 years ago when he was still running Riskalyze and spending some 70% of his time in meetings, a process he found quite inefficient. Contio has launched 3 versions of their namesake software. Meeting OS, free version, which provides meeting agendas with powerful AI notes and action items for up to 20 meetings a month. Now, Meeting OS free plugs into Google Workspace and Microsoft Outlook calendars, works across video platforms without bots, and supports in-person meetings. The second level is Meeting OS Pro, which starts at $49 a month for the first 3 users, provides for unlimited meetings to draft agendas, surface insights during conversations, and recall meeting details, and they can also use voice mode. And the third and the top tier is Meeting OS Elite Advisor, which starts at $99 a month for the first 3 users. This includes everything of the Pro plan, but also is optimized specifically for financial advisors and allows reading performance reports, financial plans, portfolio analysis reports, and account statements. It also integrates with Nitrogen, eMoney, Money Guide, Right Capital, Black Diamond, Orion, Adapar, Y-Charts, and others. The Elite Advisor version is designed to, I said that right, so that they believe they can cut prep time for meetings from 2 hours to only 10 minutes. Contio is also launching a partner apps program around Meeting OS, which is reminiscent of the work that Riskalyze did when Aaron was running it, where they really focused heavily on their partner program, building out APIs and integrations. And they have brought on so far 12 partners in their program, including Blueleaf, AssetMap, Precept, and Financial, which has introduced their own version called Financial Plus, which is a new product built on top of Meeting OS. Now, Contio starts out their life in the WealthTech integration score with a 5.6, which is a solid, almost a 6, which is the minimum to get into the recognition program, which is a 6.0. But 5.6 is solid for a new product, and you can learn more about them at contio.ai. Story. Our next story. Finney lands Osaic deal to put AI prospecting in front of 11,000 advisors. Finney, an AI-driven prospecting and marketing startup, has inked a distribution deal with Osaic that will put its tech in the hands of one of the largest advisor networks in the U.S. The fast-growing New York-based startup said Thursday, well, this is already a month or 2 old, said that Osaic had made its platform available to more than 270 financial institutions and 11,000 financial professionals across the firm's network. Osaic oversees more than $700 billion in AUA giving Finney a significantly larger footprint in the independent advisor channel. Advisors affiliated with Osaic will be able to use Finney to automate pieces of their outbound prospecting, including tracking client and prospect life events, segmenting by intent, and running multi-step outreach campaigns. The goal is to help advisors increase client acquisition while spending less time manually researching and chasing leads. Osaic's priority has always been to equip our advisors, our financial professionals, with the technology and resources that let them spend more time with clients and less time chasing prospects, said Dimple Shah, Executive VP of Strategy and Client Experience at Osaic. Finney's platform combines a proprietary F-score matching engine with what it describes as 1.8 billion daily intent signals drawn from online activity. Advisors can search for prospects based on real-time behaviors, then plug them into automated multi-channel campaigns that span LinkedIn, email, voicemail, and direct mail. The company pitches this as a way to build a cohesive prospecting engine rather than a bunch of one-off marketing ideas. Advisors need tech that lets them grow without adding hours to their workload. Prospecting should take minutes, not hours, said Eden Ovadia, co-founder and CEO of Finney. She called Osaic's size and focus on advisor resources a natural fit for the startup's push into larger enterprise relationships. This relationship with Osaic allows us to bring these capabilities to one of the industry's largest advisor networks, ensuring that professionals have a prospecting workflow that is intuitive, automated, and built to support consistent growth, added Finney's co-founder and president, Victoria Toll. The agreement comes as organic growth remains a top concern for large RIAs and broker-dealers. In research from Cerulli Associates, 83% of billion-dollar RIAs identified advisor time constraints as a major obstacle to organic growth efforts, even as 70% of executives ranked organic expansion as a key strategic priority. Tools that promise to automate parts of lead gen and follow-up are drawing increased interest as firms look for ways to free up advisor capacity without adding staff. In related news, last year, Ritholtz Wealth Management CEO Josh Brown invested in Finney and joined their advisory board. That gave a huge boost to the company last year, blowing out their demo pipeline and really increasing tremendously the number of advisors who were even aware of Finney and were willing to try it out. On the advisory board is also industry heavyweights such as Arun Anur, Chief Operating Officer at Orion. For Finney, the Osaic relationship caps off a run of activity over the past year. In December, the WealthTech company closed a $17 million Series A round led by Venrock, pushing its total funding past $20 million and adding a roster of strategic backers from across the wealth and fintech landscape. And earlier in October, Finney announced a partnership with Integrated Partners, a $22 billion RIA that rolled out the platform to more than 220 advisors to support their biz dev efforts. Osaic, meanwhile, has been leaning into advisor development and practice management. I think in January, the firm unveiled upgrades to its Wealth Advisory Academy and Financial Planning Jumpstart initiatives through new partnerships with Actify, aiming to bolster both early career and more experienced advisors' planning and business building skills. Equipping advisors with productivity, growth support solutions that enable a lasting impact for clients and themselves is a core tenet of the value we deliver to our affiliate financial advisors, said Jerry Schreck, Senior VP of Advisor Education for Osaic. You can get more information about Finney at Finney.com and Osaic at Osaic.com. Next up, we've got a slew of stories all about Orion. This will be a big update. Was at their Ascent 2026 conference at the end of February, and they had a whole ton of news. I picked out a couple, I think, of the most interesting ones for you here. Story number one, Orion Anthropic collaboration. So this came first. Orion announced a collaboration with Anthropic, the company behind Claude, following Anthropic's rollout of new financial services plugins for the wealth management industry. I think Orion has already been working with Anthropic as part of their broader AI strategy, but this announcement signals they're leaning in harder. The idea is that these new financial services plugins from Anthropic will get incorporated into future Orion product development. So this is smart positioning, in my opinion. Anthropic is building enterprise-grade AI infrastructure, and Orion is one of the largest platforms in wealth tech. They're at almost $6 trillion in assets under administration. 17 of the top 20 Barron's RIA firms on the platform. And more broker-dealers are switching, or at least more broker-dealers are, while they run InvestNet on the W-2 side, when they're launching 1099 independent channels, they're all going Orion. So plugging into this best-of-class foundational AI models rather than building everything from scratch makes a lot of sense. Don't reinvent the wheel if you can license it from the best. So let's see Orion deliver on that. More AI stories from Orion. Denali AI Enterprise goes live. What is Denali AI? They call it they believe it's their AI overlay on top of everything, basically. It's a little hard to understand, and I was really grilling some of the senior people about what exactly is it, and they see, I think they're still pivoting or still figuring out exactly what it's going to deliver, but they see Denali as their overarching AI architecture sitting on top of all of their data, all their systems, and basically connecting everything together. So I'm not sure really what it does or what it's running on, but for Orion clients, we've got a bunch of them. They're all testing it. Well, some of them are testing it, some of them are not, to try to see if it's something they should be using. The Orion also launched 2 new AI assistants called the Report Assistant, which drafts client-ready reports, and the Query Studio, which lets ops teams ask data questions in plain English instead of having to build SQL queries. I'm so sad about that. I spent many years building SQL queries. We were like the gods of data. People wanted something, they had to come to us, and we would build a query. And you could spend hours and hours, or even days or weeks, building the right queries to get the right data, to look through the data model, to find the right tables to join in the right way to get the right data. Boy, that was like more half art and half science. Now, AI just does it for you. Well, I'm glad I'm not in that business anymore. There's more in Orion's roadmap: prop gen, account opening, billing, recon. They're updating a lot of things. According to their survey, only 10% of advisors are using advanced AI capabilities, and 25% have 0 AI tools in place. That seems rather high. So there's a massive adoption gap that Orion maybe seems to fill with looks to fill with their Denali initiative. Third story on Orion. They announced some unified managed household, UMH roadmap. So we've heard about UMH for many years. It means managing all the households, all the accounts in a client's household, whether they're taxable, non-taxable, whatever, in a single coordinated portfolio with a tax overlay, with one model for the whole household, everything baked in, asset location, minimizing tax drag, the whole 9 yards. And it's built on top of Orion's UMA tax overlay technology, which they're nearly done working on. Another Orion survey, 85% of advisors think household level management would be valuable. Duh. Yeah, that's a strong number. 40% plan to expand their UMH usage in the next 5 years. Okay. So we've been looking for household level management where it really works, where it's not, a lot of vendors claim they have it, but it's really a bunch of things cobbled together that doesn't really work. So hopefully Orion can get this operational, and no swivel chairing, no copy and pasting, just operate and work seamlessly for advisors. Okay, fourth story. Farmers launches an RIA with Orion and Schwab. Farmers Insurance Group launched a new full-service RIA called Farmers Asset Management. They chose Schwab for custody and Orion for the tech stack. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of broker-dealers doing that when they're launching independent RIAs or RIA networks or their own RIA. They run Orion for the tech stack. It just seems to be the go-to tech that everyone's picking. And the Farmers platform has portfolio management, planning, OCIO support, the works. Farmers has a decent-sized footprint, 2,500 reps, over $10 billion in customer assets through the broker-dealer, Farmers Financial Solutions. Now, this new RIA is how they move into the fee-based financial planning and compete more directly in the wealth management space. So classic insurance to wealth expansion. We've worked with a lot of other insurance companies that have done the same thing. We're not working with Farmers, full disclosure, but they need tech infrastructure. They need Orion and Schwab to be credible. They're well established, great, and very safe for an insurance company. So we're working with a number of insurance companies, different products, and insurance vendors. They're all looking at the wealth business, either building out what they have, making their advisors more holistic, where their wealth and insurance systems operate well together. That's something we at Ezra Group, we spend a lot of time working with our insurance clients, connecting different systems because wealth and insurance don't really play well together. And trying to get everything holistically even on one screen is always a pain. But Farmer seems to be moving in that direction. You can find more information about Orion at orion.com. All right, next up, quick story. Former RFG exec Abby Salome joins Mercer as a managing partner. Abby Salome, who stepped down from her role as Chief Growth Officer of RFG Advisory in December, has landed at Mercer Global Advisors, taking on the role of managing partner for the New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware region, effective March 2nd. The firm has also hired Chris Walters, the former Chief Advisory Officer at Savant Wealth Management, as managing partner for the San Diego region. Mercer, which has almost $100 billion in assets, created the managing partner role about a year ago. The firm now has 21 of them around the country, overseeing growth in markets everywhere. Mercer's managing partners work with financial advisors in their regions to raise awareness and help them access the firm's resources. That includes its centralized investment management, advanced financial planning, tax and estate specialists, and operational infrastructure. Part of her role, Salome said, will also be seeking advisors to join Mercer. This managing partner is very much a role that allows me to do what I love to do, which is help advisors serve their clients better and to mentor and lead a team of highly established, successful financial advisors so they can better serve their clients in a way that's super different than anything I've done before, Salome said. And she gets to do it from her home in New Jersey. New Jersey. Just like me doing my work from my home in New Jersey without being on planes all the time. Why am I on planes all the time? Which she cited as a pain point for her at RFG. Before RFG, Salome was the chief marketing officer at Case, the alternatives platform. And prior to that, she spent about 2 years as chief marketing officer for Hightower and 6 years in the same role at Private Advisor Group. Serious experience. Love Abby. Congrats, Abby. You can find more information, Mercer Advisors. Just Google Mercer Advisors. All right, that's my favorite part of the news. The AdvisorTech map and WealthTech integration scores. I'm going to fly through this, folks, because I think we didn't do the news last month, so I've got a couple extra ones here. I want to hit a bunch of these new products that Michael Kitsis and I, who do the AdvisorTech map. Michael and I have been doing it. I think this is 7 years going on, working on the map together, and every month we get at least six new products for the map, sometimes more, sometimes less, but they're really coming on strong. Okay, so let me go through. These are in no particular order, just the order that we looked at them. These are going on to the April map. Equity Nav in the equity comp category. It's equitynav.io is the website. It's a deterministic planning AI layer for equity compensation and concentrated stock decisions. Supports full spectrum of equity comp workflows, including ISO, NSO, RSU, ESPP, and founder equity scenarios, translating messy grant and transaction histories into a standardized model that advisors can use for planning and client communications. That joins our growing group of equity comp applications, which you can find on the AdvisorTech map. Next up is Trusty. Their website is withtrusty.com. The trusted way to share your wishes, a single place to organize the plans, documents, and personal wishes your family will need. Seems like some sort of document vault. They're calling it an estate binder for all the documents that you need in your life. There's a couple other applications doing the same thing, but you can never have too many of these. And they're going in the legacy planning category. After that, Epilogue, spelled just like it sounds, but the website is Get Epilogue. Understand the plan, lead the conversation, helps financial advisors quickly understand and review estate planning documents. Boy, that's another crowded category. You're going up against some very well-funded products with very influential leaders and VCs behind them. Tough to break into the estate planning document category, but Epilogue is trying to. Advisors upload client estate plans, PDFs, trust wills, POAs, etc. Epilogue automatically generates client-facing, advisor-facing PDF reports. Okay, good luck to you guys. GetEpilogue.com. Contio, my good friend Aaron Klein. We just mentioned them in the news. AI turns what gets said into what gets done. Meeting OS turns conversations into a first draft. Client call becomes draft proposals. Um, Interesting Meeting OS tools. They're taking the meetings from a different point of view, a bit of a different angle than the other major AI note takers. They're looking at it. I like the Meeting OS branding, and they're looking at sort of a bottom up rather than a top down solution. Contio.ai, CONTIO.ai. Okay, although they're going, of course, in client meeting support. All right, they close all these windows. All right, Fintelion. Man, that's some name. Fintelion. Fintelion.ai. Multi-layered AI intelligence for smarter investing. It's an AI native investment intelligence platform for equity research, portfolio analytics, and capital markets discovery. All right, that goes in investment data analytics. Fidulink. Boy, these names just kill me. Fidulink? What is that? Fidulink. FIDULINK.ai. Fidulink? All-in-one communication super suite for fiduciary firms. Oh, Fidulink. Providing a seamless AI-powered communication suite pre-built for prospect, client, and COI outreach with 100 plus hours of pre-built automations and messaging. Front office AI-powered marketing and communication suite. Okay. It goes under digital marketing. You'll see that in the April map. Also in the April map, 8 figures. The number 8, we don't see many numbers in domain names. Number 8 figures.com. AI investment advisor for high net worth clients to get a single dashboard showing their complete net worth across all accounts and custodians. Okay, that's interesting. We don't get a lot of new client portals. They're few and far between. So I'm always interested to see new ones. Got a black website. That's always cool. Black background website means you're cool. Turn questions into clarity. Never depend on a single income. Make investments to create a second source. Warren Buffett. Got a quote from Warren Buffett on the website. Okay, I like it. Like what their looks are. Looks cool. All right, 8 figures. Check it out if you're looking for some way to differentiate yourself. Trade stocks, ETFs, real estate, crypto, bonds, and startups. This is trading or tracking. Sorry, track. All in one place. Cool. All right, 8figures.com. A couple from last month. Let me just whip through these very quickly and then close all these other windows that I opened up. OrgIQ, communications archiving, orgiq.com. Keep a pulse on your team and customers with AI-driven insights. Spot red flags, culture shifts, burnout. Oh, wait a minute. This was an interesting company. This is more than just social media archiving. It's going in the communications archiving. But what I think these guys are doing, OrgIQ, is a little bit of a big brotherish type of system where they're monitoring all internal communications, all emails, all Slacks, everything that goes internally, and then looking for culture and morale dips, flagging before exit interviews, gathering knowledge from employees. So if they leave, you can map it out for smooth handoffs. And also on the compliance side, look for PII and regulatory red flags. So not sure if firms are going to want this or if employees are going to want this, but it seems like we're going to get it whether we want it or not. That you're going to be monitoring basically everything everyone says all the time, and this thing can build a dashboard to monitor that. OrgIQ. I haven't seen a demo yet, but the website looks cool. And that goes into communications archiving. Spacesos.com, which is a prospecting tool. Automate prospecting and book qualified meetings with ideal fit clients. That'll be a tough sell. Spaces.os in the prospecting category. WealthStream. This sounds familiar. Financial planning. Build the advisors your clients deserve. WealthStream is an advice intelligence platform for wealth management firms. It helps more advisors think with the depth, context, and pattern recognition of your firm's best advisors. An agentic planning platform that operates as a digital extension of your planning team. It turns scattered client context into prioritized recommendations and tracked follow-throughs. So every advisor delivers the quality of advice as your best planners. Okay, WealthStream encodes your firm's planning philosophy with a deep specialization across core planning domains to make expertise scalable across advisor teams. Cool. That seems interesting. I haven't heard of that one. That's type of system before. So they're basically gathering the best information from your team and sharing it across so everyone can be better. And this is something I did mention many years ago. I was talking about AI increasing the empathy IQ, or the EQ of advisors. Since many advisors, some advisors, the best ones, have great EQ, and then everyone else is sort of lesser. AI can maybe level that out, level the playing field with nudges and prompts and tools and things. So WealthStream, the website is thewealthstream.com. Okay. Two more. Cloud Quicks, but it's spelled with a Q. CloudQix, workflow automation made easy. I like this one too. We don't get a lot of automation and workflow tools on the map. So I thought this was interesting. Not sure how I like they've got, it looks very much like Hubly or other workflow tools where you've got a screen that you drag and drop little icons and connect them together to build stuff. It looked cool. I got a demo of it, talked to the guys, really smart. A lot of smart young guys. They've got pre-built connectors. You can basically expand or contract it. You can adopt AI faster. They want to do a lot of work for you. So I think they're looking for use cases, and they're sort of either a Zapier replacement, that can do a lot more than that, maybe easier to use. So CloudQuix, CloudQuix.com, and finally Hive Tax AI. Man, they've got everything. AI, HiveTax.ai, an AI tax assistant for CPA firms, tax professionals, financial advisors, and in-house tax teams. They have a five-day free trial. Efficient tax research, one click beyond 1040 tax planning, accurate tax research results. Interesting stuff, which is going in the tax category. So that's all of the new applications that we're going to see on the map. Some from last month, some from this month. And if you are a vendor, a WealthTech vendor, any of those WealthTech vendors, please go to our website, EzraGroup.com. Make sure your WealthTech integration score is up to date by updating the integrations you have with your application. You can register at EzraGroup.com/register. And that's the end. You've reached the end of another episode of the WealthTech Today podcast. Thanks for listening to this really, really long news podcast. But before you go, head to our website, EzraGroup.com, and scroll to the bottom of the homepage and sign up for our newsletter. Once a month, you receive an email chock full of wealth management goodness, news, information, and updates. You will not be disappointed. Thanks again for listening, and talk to you all again next time.